Hey class, so here we are. This is it, it's the end, literally the last day. So this is literally the last lecture of the semester. Can't get literally more last than that. I'm gonna be putting the grades in probably by the time this video is uploaded, they'll be all in. So this is it, it's over. Spring semester is over. You made it. It was a very, very difficult semester. The last two have not been the college that you signed up for. And I really wish the systems themselves recognized, just the systems in general, and I mean this globally, locally, wherever, recognize the amount of energy that you had to put in to adapt to this new space when they, I don't think, put in the same amount of energy you may have to make these things happen. Regardless, I'm very, very happy and pleased with how the semester came out and really, really proud of the work you did and all of your responses this semester. I could not have been more pleased by it. You have to keep in mind, something you may or may not know, is that before these last two semesters, I turned down tenure at my previous position. I literally turned down a forever job because I was pretty burned out with academia and how things had gone. And after founding a degree, it really didn't pay out the way I wanted it to, and the school was changing more rapidly than the direction I wanted the degree to go. So I kind of wanted to leave. I wanted to start fresh, go into the private sector, work at some places, learn what it was like to actually do some of the things. But teaching at Queens College for the last two semesters has really changed that. I'm really fortunate this fall to return full-time to Queens College, albeit non-tenure track, but it doesn't matter. I'm excited nonetheless because this is really what I want to do. You all, I know it was asynchronous, but you all have inspired me to stick around and stay in the classroom because I really enjoy what I teach. I really enjoy this subject, and I really enjoy making sure that I use my knowledge as pedagogy. A lot of people deploy their knowledge in different ways. Some people write it down as research in books. I plan on doing a book soon. But a lot of people use it in pedagogy, the act of teaching. And I really, really enjoy it, especially when I have such a great group as you. I'm really, really privileged and fortunate to have such phenomenal responses and answers and interactions with you, even in this asynchronous world. It's been very difficult, but almost all of you have made it through in such an impactful and powerful way. So today is just a very short summation. I just want to go over a few things that really that stood out to me, and I really want to just recap them. One was a couple of things that stood out in terms of stuff you were most interested in or things that impacted you the most. And it seemed to me that some of the things that impacted you the most were things that impact me the most. And I'm really, really glad that you're interested in this as well, because this is the stuff I find really inspiring and illuminating. And I think this is the things that you should be interested in. I think this changes how it is. So a few things that really stuck out to you was Gamergate, algorithms, data tracking. Those things are pretty big parts of information. As I mentioned to some of you, Gamergate is unfortunately one of the big things that I focus on because I think it's kind of the world we exist in now. I'm pretty fortunate in my stance of that I can be pretty safe online, but women, black, brown people, people of color, indigenous, queer people, they have a very difficult time assimilating to a space that was designed specifically for a certain type of people. And social media is fairly exclusionary. I mean, I've said that out loud. So what we try to do, or what we're trying to do is in the effort of learning social media, is try to figure out what an equitable future of social media may look like. And hopefully we, as a group, as a collective, figure out ways to make that future possible. So I'm really glad that those things stuck out. However, that's bad information to learn. Two things that stuck out more than any other in our end things was the episode of Black Mirror Nosedive. You all stuck to that. Some of you watched it multiple times, some of you have seen it before, but all of you a great majority of you seem to find an impact from that episode. I think there's obvious reasons to find that as an impact, especially in the case of what social ratings are. You have to keep in mind Black Mirror is a satire about today. It isn't about the future, it's about right now, and it's a way of looking at the world sideways. Or the Black Mirror that it speaks directly about is your phone being off. That's you seeing your reflection in the black mirror of the screen. The other thing that affected you was Brandy Zadrozny's article about that small town in Pennsylvania with the Facebook news group. I really empower you to seek out more information about this because I think Facebook groups have become the accidental de facto mini governments of some small towns. And in that, we've lost the case of community engagement outside of online spaces. Many people have said this on podcasts, on specials, on shows, but one thing to keep in mind about the future in the next decade is to remember that if things go wrong, your friend on social media, New Master 69, is not going to be the person that's going to show up and save your butt if something goes wrong. It'll be your next door neighbor or your friends or people closest to you, which means we shouldn't expend our energy on how social media interacts. We should expend our energy on the people closest to us. And that brings us back to the idea of Gamergate in general. A lot of things that happen that are controversial or toxic or terrible online is because people are expressing innate grievances or fears into spaces where they feel safe and can do so. And what I mean by that is behind the digital wall, people can say things without fear of accountability. But inside of them is some sort of existential fear or a problem or a grievance that they're trying to express out loud, but they don't really have the good manner to do so. And what we should do as people now well versed in what social media does is reach out to them, connect with them, find out what those fears may be, and see ways in which we can connect in a physical space as a person to person, as community. Because in the future, we're gonna need each other more than anything else. So in closing, two things I want to focus on is one, several of you brought this up, which is the idea of mental health in social media. Social media is not designed to make you feel better. Much like advertising is designed to make you feel worse, you could buy the thing to make you feel better. Social media's goal is to make you always see something that's better than you, because then you always participate to try to up that ante. It's literally the Instagram model of FOMO. But in that, we have to keep in mind that it affects us personally and it creates exhaustion. As I heard on a recent podcast about performative acts, I heard this just yesterday, that we all feel burned out all the time because it isn't just work, it isn't just school, it's the process of always trying to present ourselves to a public. That's exhausting. That's a multiple layer job at all times. That's going to take a lot from you, and it's going to hurt your mental, physical health at all times too. Keep an eye on that. Take a break. It will not, the social media is not going away, but you could distance yourself temporarily and come right back. Those gaps and those pauses help us see a more holistic and global view of how social media operates. But put yourself first, because social media won't put you first. It doesn't care, because the numbers, it quantizes you and turns you into numbers. And lastly is the focus on trust and safety. Do your best to think about how platforms can do better. Think about what trust and safety can be in the future and how we could use places like TikTok and platforms to think about how we could help each other. Several of you handed in TikToks as your final assignments, and that was so awesome. I love that so much. I love seeing Victoria's and Kayla's TikToks as their finals. I love seeing Sin's video that was like a compilation vertical video. Jake's video and James's videos were great too, of these vlogs. I did appreciate the essays and the PowerPoints as well. Everybody did the finals in a fantastic manner. I just really, really appreciate finals and videos that are expressive. They show who you are. I really am looking forward to teaching TikTok much more in the future, and I hope in the fall I'm going to be doing much more TikTok work and see what I could do. Use the Learn on TikTok hashtag. It's the 4th most used hashtag on that platform. So you could actually become the teacher, help people out, be participating in it. Because this is the way that we're going to be communicating, so you may as well be sharing the things you've learned with others and make their lives just a little bit better, or at least make them laugh, which you did for me, and I appreciate that much. So in closing, thank you so much for your time and attention this semester. And again, I know how difficult it was, and I know that hopefully this won't be like this again, but I hope we take some lessons from it and learn how to create our vigilance and our fortitude and see how it tested our mettle into the future. But whatever lessons you take from it, make sure you show somebody else or help somebody else with their way. Don't figure out how it becomes something for you, but take what you've learned and help somebody else become better or uplift somebody around you. Because that's really what we need to be doing, because there's just so much going on and so different ways of engaging with it. But remember to connect with one another, post-COVID, try to be safe, try to be around each other, and try to think about compassion and empathy more than anything else. If that's what you take from this, that's what I would love you to take from this. But thank you so much again. Please keep in touch. You know my email, obviously. If you ever need anything, just let me know. And hope to see you again in the future, and maybe hope to see you in real life at some point in the classroom or in professional spaces. So thank you. Enjoy your summers as best as possible, and good luck with everything.